Okay, looking at the last one in 15.1, again, we have a lot going on here. We have a picture, and then we have to do the algebra of some functions here with some different input values. Here's the g of x function in red here, and they give us the definition of the g of x function, okay? And then we have the f of x function here defined, okay? So we don't have to use the graph if we just want to use the definitions of the functions, and we could do the problem like number 2 and use our input values here. But notice on this first one, our input value for f would be 6, and then the input value for g would be 2, and we put those in and compute. But I'm going to show you one graphing, and the rest of them we'll do by the substitution method. So if I look at the first one, I see f of 6. What that would mean is I would come out here roughly 6 spots here, okay? And depending, you just count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And then I would look down here and see the f function, and I come across here and see that it's at -5, okay? Now you can see you get the same value if you put 6 in here. You get -6 plus 1 is -5. So this value is -5, okay? Then doing the g function, okay? To do the g function, we come over to 2 here, okay? And we, because that's our input value of 2, and we look down and we see we're at -1, okay? Now, if you put 2 into this, I guarantee you'll get -1, okay? You got 2 squared minus 2 times 2 minus 1. You'll get -1, so you can get it from the picture or input. So then what do I do with the two values? I add the two values together and get -6. Okay. Now let's not reinvent the wheel on this next problem. We already found out that f of 6 is equal to -5, so we don't have to recompute that, all right? And we know that g of 2, since I computed that in the last problem, was -1. I can save myself a little time because I recognize I have the same input values, okay? So that simplifies to 5, okay? Now we got some new input values, okay? -2, and when you put -2 into this function here, the g of x function, and do the calculations, what you're going to get is 7, and then you can test that out. Again, practice maybe putting that in there, you'll get 7. And then you put 2 into this function here, and you're going to get -1. What do you do with those two values? You multiply them, and you get -7. Okay? Then here we haven't calculated either of these before, so we can put 5 into this function. We get -4. And then when we put 4 into this function, we'll get 7. And then we subtract those and get -11. Okay. So we have the graphing method and the substitution method. You should be familiar with both of them just in case they don't give you the definition of the functions. Okay, so remember, this is your input values are here. That's called the domain, and then you put those into the function, and you get an output value, which is called your range. Okay. All right, that wraps up 15.1, the algebra of functions.